there, family and friends. It is MG, and welcome to another edition of the Reimagine You Lab podcast. You know, it is the third Friday of the month. So, guess what? Dr. Joyce is in the house with us. Hello, Dr. Joyce.
Hi, Miss Michelle.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored, and thank you so much for inviting me to your show again.
We're glad to have you, Dr. Joyce. You are a feature and a staple in the lab. So we are grateful to have you here.
Thank
Of
you.
course, our listening audience, they know that we are making healthy happen. And May health and wellness is what we're chatting about today. So consumer awareness to protect against disease. And Dr. Joyce, I'm so thrilled that today's episode is you've got the three books. You want to give them a quick overview of the three books in that Purple Mind series that all of the information and such is coming from. And then we'll give them information on how they can get copies if they want.
Okay. So most of the information or answers to the questions, because we're having a question and answer for the month of May or the health and wellness feature segment. And so most of the information is coming from Purple Mind Shield of Protection. And this book has so much information in it. It's for the spirit, the soul, and the body. A lot of the information is coming from Purple Mind Peace and Rest. Again, this book is amazing because not only does it talk about nutrition, but it talks about your atoms that make up your body and how by just having the word of God and using that information that you are sending out vibrations and signals to attract what you want. And then, of course, the Purple Mind Nutrition and Wellness. And so these three books would be wonderful books for you to have in your library. And I would like to thank the viewers who have already ordered the books. Yay. Thank you so very much.
That's always a good thing. So we always start with a disclaimer too, so that we know that Dr. Joyce, I give you that part to make sure that we hit our disclaimer appropriately.
Okay, well, the information is for educational and inspirational purposes only. And it's not to make a diagnosis or to treat. It's just to provide inspiration so that you can use this education and information properly.
Perfect. And don't forget, for those of you who do want to get copies, you can get them at purplemindbook.com. That's purplemindbook.com. Or they're also available on Amazon.com. If some of you are Prime users and you want to get it in your hands super quick, go ahead and go over to Amazon and pick up a copy. Well, as Dr. Joyce mentioned, the month of May, we're doing this segment is really going to be focused on responding to questions that some of the viewers had in reference to some of the segments that you have heard before. And so we wanted to come back, and when somebody sends in a question, hey, we want to make sure we respond to it. So Dr. Joyce, I am so glad that you set it up and you are here responding to audience feedback and information. So we'll get started. This first question, and Darcy from Atlanta, Georgia, I hope you are listening today. Thank you for the question. And it looks like it's two parts to this question, Dr. Joyce. The first is, how do I know if my DNA is impacting my health for the better? And the second part of that question are there any telltale signs I will notice?
Okay, so this is an excellent question. And of course, if you are ages 50 through 84 and have not had a cancer diagnosis in the last 3 years, what you can do is request the Cancer Guard blood test. And just from your DNA, from your genes, you are inheriting maybe biological diseases from both of your parents, or perhaps from their ancestors down through the generations over thousands of years. So if you haven't been diagnosed with cancer, in other words, you don't have a history of cancer, you do not have actively had cancer in the last 3 years or presently have cancer, you can request this. It's called Cancer Guard blood test.
Mm-hmm.
It is a multiple biomarker approach that looks at the protein and the DNA, which is your genes, which is your seed, to help with early detection of over 50 cancers. And of course, we want to make sure that's very important to have an early detection of cancer. And so this test will let you know if you have over 50 or if you do have cancer, and it includes over 50 different types of cancers.
Wow, that's good. I didn't even know that there was some type of a diagnostic type testing that you could even do.
Yes, and it's called Cancer Guard. It's a blood test. And so what this test is doing is detecting, is helping to make early detections. And there are aggressive and hard to find cancers, such as pancreatic cancer and ovarian cancer, liver, lung, esophageal, and stomach cancers. These are the aggressive, hard to find or hard to detect cancers that this Cancer Guard blood test will help to make an early detection of these cancers. So the Cancer Guard blood test is meant to complement and not to replace your routine cancer screening, like your mammograms, your colonoscopies, your pap smears, or prostate-specific antigen test, which is abbreviated PSA test in men's blood for prostate cancer. Now, the thing that you might want to remember, and you'll see this on a lot of supplements, it's not FDA approved, but it has been approved by several laboratories. So you have to go through a request or make this request through the Cancer Guard test request portal. And then there will be let's see, there will be a telehealth, I want to get this correct, there will be a telehealth provider to see if this test is right for you. So you can first ask your doctor if they will do, or if they have the Cancer Guard blood test that you can have performed. And if they don't, then of course you can go online and go to the Cancer Guard test request portal. And like I said, a telehealth provider will see if you are right for this examination. And it's usually if you have not had or been diagnosed with cancer within the last 3 years.
Got you. Okay. That's good. You know what? I would just add to that too. Like, if you're asking your doctor's office, if they can do the Cancer Guard screening, also checking, around for whether or not this may be a test that could be covered by insurance. It'd be worth asking the question when you go.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the second part of that question, Dr. Joyce, was, are there any telltale signs that I will notice?
Okay, yes. Okay, so if there is damage to your DNA, it can result in visible and invisible signs. So now this is usually not maybe the early detection, but again, visible will be premature aging and wrinkled skin. So if people are like, if you in your 40s and maybe you think that you look like you're 70 and you have maybe some of the other symptoms like abnormal bleeding, weight loss, these are visible signs that your DNA has been damaged. And then, of course, the invisible signs will be all cancers. All cancers result from damaged DNA. So that's where this cancer guard biomarker blood test would come in very handy. And
Yeah.
then, of course, the invisible will also include damage to your brain, heart, lungs, and other organs. So you have the visible and the invisible.
Hey, man, that's good to know. Like, so, Dr. Joyce, you said if you're 40 and you're starting to look like you're 70, that's an indicator that there's some damage that could have happened to you. No,
Yeah.
that's good to know. Good to know.
Premature aging and excessive wrinkled skin is an indication. And of course, we know that sometimes with the skin issues, you have to make sure you don't have skin cancer, not getting excessive skin, especially if there's a lack of melanin, if there's a lack of pigment in your skin. You want to make sure you're not getting excessive skin burns, and different things like that. So
Yeah. So, Dr. Joyce, I see this DNA, the images here that you have on the screen. And for those of you who may be listening in, there is an image of a magnified and kind of a that shows us what the DNA looks like inside of the body. And then there is a visual drawing that kind of shows us what damaged DNA looks like.
Yes, exactly. So the images that is to the left of the damaged DNA image is called a normal DNA helix. And it is a double strand helix which intertwines. So it almost looks like a ribbon and has a ribbon appearance because it intertwines. And then holding the two strands together would be the hydrogen bond. So that's the vertical, that's the horizontal. And that they hold the vertical strands, the two vertical strands together. So this makes the double helix DNA, and this is normal. And where you have the damages, usually it will happen to the hydrogen, the horizontal hydrogen bond that holds the two double-strand helix DNA strands together. And so we don't want to damage that. And usually the damage can be due to radiation, which could be ionizing radiation coming from x-rays, either dental x-rays or medical x-rays. That would be your ionizing radiation. Yeah. Now, the non-ionizing radiation would be something like your wireless devices. We have your cell phones, your tablets, your computers. They can cause damage also to your DNA. Now, with the radiation from medical and dental, what they do is they penetrate. The ionizing radiation, they penetrate through your cells and break those hydrogen bonds. With wireless devices, the non-ionizing radiation that we're getting from the cell phones and the tablets and the Wi-Fi routers, all of these are absorbed by your cells. So when they're absorbed by your cells, and if they can penetrate through the cell membrane through the nuclear membrane into the cell, they can damage these hydrogen bonds that hold the two double strands of the DNA helix. And we have damage like this, we're gonna have you will have cancer.
Yeah, you know what? You make up you. I'm glad that you kind of talked about that. You know, when you think about when you go to the doctor or the dentist office, and usually whenever I have a dentist appointment that's coming up next week, so this really hits me because every time I go and they're doing anything, they always put that heavy type of a. It looks like an apron, they lay it on top of you, and I'm sure that must be for the radiation, and this is why they're doing that.
Yes.
because this is what could happen. They know how powerful those machines and tools that radiation is as they're looking through, they're checking whatever it is that they need to check. But
Yes.
so listen, you guys, if y'all tuning in, make sure that don't resist it, right? Like let them
Right.
do what
Right.
they
Right.
do.
The
But
benefit over the risk. There's a benefit of having this done over the risk.
yeah,
Absolutely. And then don't forget, we had a whole featured segment where we
yes,
talked about the juices that you can drink prior to having your dental x-rays and your medical x-rays, like your mammograms and other x-ray studies that you may need to have. And
yeah.
these juices would include watermelon juice,
Mhm.
grapefruit juice, tomato juice, guava juice, and papaya juice. And you don't have to drink but a fourth. I mean, like if someone say, well, I have sugar and these juices are high in sugar, just a small amount, a fourth of a cup. But you have to drink it prior to having your x-rays done, as well as flying on a plane, because you do get radiation from the sun, as well as going to the beach. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because as a preventive to help protect your DNA from the radiation that you're getting from the medical and dental procedures, you can drink those 5 juices, just a small amount of one of those 5 juices.
That's good, Dr. Joyce. I'm telling you, you guys, we learned so many things. So there is that episode. You can go back and you can listen in. The episodes are all out there online. Reimagine You Lab podcast on YouTube, and you can pull it up. It is there for you. All right. So, Dr. Joyce, thank you for walking us through there. So, there was another question that came through, and this one was from Jillian in Belton, Missouri. And her question was, what can you tell me about free radicals and antioxidants? Free
Oh,
radicals and antioxidants. I remember talking about this one.
yes. And there is a battle. There's a battle inside your body between the bad guys, and those would be the free radicals, and the good guys. And we refer to the good guys as the antioxidants. So the bad guys, the free radicals, what they do is they steal electrons from your atoms and damage your cells and your DNA. The good guys, the antioxidants, they carry extra electrons to share with the bad guys. And they help to protect your cells and your DNA from damage that the free radicals will cause. And atoms, what are atoms? Atoms are the building blocks that make the cells.
That's so good.
So here we see a picture of an atom, and really you are so much, much, much bigger on the inside than what you can see on the outside of your body. So we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We have atoms, and these are the building blocks of your cells. It's every matter, all matter consists of atoms, and we are matter. We're three-dimensional matter, and we contain atoms. And so whenever you see an atom, whatever the atom is, it has to be balanced. So you see the little negative charged, and they're like little orbits around the center. So these are your electrons. They are the negative charge, and these are what the free radicals are looking for. They're looking for an electron. And so the electrons and the protons, they have to be the same number. So if you have 4 electrons and you count the little negative charge, you have 4. And then if you look at the center where the protons are located and the neutrons, the protons are the positive charge. So there must be a balance between your electrons and your protons. And then the neutrons are, of course, no charge. So you have to have still the same amount of electrons, protons, and neutrons to have a balanced atom, which makes up your cells.
Okay. Okay.
So this is a picture of a normal human cell. And so these electrons that the free radicals are taking, they are in they're taking them from your cell membrane. Now the cell membrane is very thin and it protects the cell. It's like a barrier for your cell. And so what the good guys do, your antioxidants, they help to keep the balance between your electrons and your protons by providing these free radicals, sharing with them an electron. And by sharing an electron with your cell membrane, with the atoms found in your cell membrane, it keeps a balance. It keeps the water from inside the cell leaking out into the environment around the cell, and then anything that should not be moving or passing into the cell through the cell membrane, it protects it also. And so in this picture, you see the cell membrane, which is a protective barrier. It's a thin layer. Mm-hmm. And the next layer would be the cytoplasm. Okay. And then the cytoplasm, that's where you have all these other little organisms. Organelles, little small mitochondria, which is considered like the powerhouse of the cell. So you need that to provide fuel from the food that you eat. The food is broken down and becomes fuel in the mitochondria. And then I don't have it, but you also have ribosomes in the cytoplasm. That's right, the layer right under the cell membrane. And then the ribosome is where your proteins are made. We know that almost every cell in the body, everything in the body is made of protein, except for urine. That's the only place that you should not find protein. And then the next important membrane would be the nuclear membrane. Now that nuclear membrane protects your DNA. That's in the center of the cell. So that's where you have your DNA. You have those protons, which are your positive charged particles, and you can also see where your DNA is. And so you definitely want to protect the nuclear membrane because you don't want damage. You don't want to damage your DNA, and so that provides the protection of your DNA. The DNA is considered the headquarters because that's where your genetic material is, and this is where you have the blueprint for your other cells. That's coming from your DNA. So every cell is like a little factory.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in those cells.
So again, there's so much more inside of us than we can see on the outside. And we have to protect that by, what we're eating, of course, and in our environment.
This is good, Dr. Joyce. I'm glad you've got the visuals here to be able to see.
Oh, yes. Thank you. And I would like to thank artist Stovall for drawing these diagrams for me. He did such a wonderful job. I am a visual person, so I love to see the pictures. So to the right, again, we're showing an atom. And of course, we are saying that the atom makes up your cell. So a healthy cell membrane has these negative and positive charges, and they have to be balanced. And what the free radicals will do is steal one. But if you have seeded vegetables and grain, whole grain, wheat, whole grain, seeded grain, then they will provide. It has to be seeded because that's where you have your antioxidants coming from the nutrients from these seeded vegetables. And they will provide that spare or the extra electron. So when the free radicals steal one from your cell, they say, here's an electron that you don't touch the cell, you take this. And by protecting your cell membrane, there's no water loss from the cell. And so There's a balance of electron and protons, no water loss, and the cell can vibrate normally, a normal vibration of the cell, which goes into the law of attraction. So we're sending out signals, normal signals, and we can receive. And I won't get into the law of attraction in this program, but I talk about that in Peace and Rest book, a lot about the law of attraction, if there's anyone interested in that. And then we'll see a picture of an unhealthy cell, where the little red dots represent the free radicals that are trying to attack the cell.
Yeah. This is good. This is really good, Dr. Joyce, and seeing that so that you can kind of see what it looks like when,
Yes.
when something adverse is happening inside of the body, because a lot of times there's things going on underneath that's showing up as, like you were mentioning about, that premature aging.
Exactly.
And things that's happening, that's what it looks like on the outside when some of these things are going on the inside. So
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. So it's very, very important when you're shopping to read your nutrition labels and the ingredient list under the nutrition labels. And the FDA has required for food manufacturers to place the nutrition labels and the ingredient list on all food containers and packages. And so by you reading these labels, you can avoid free radicals. When I say you can avoid free radicals, look for white or bleached flour. Stay away from that. That has been processed using a chemical. And so they have actually gotten rid of your antioxidants. And so what you're taking in the white flour and the white rice, the granulated sugar, all artificial sweeteners, processed meats, and fast foods are free radicals. So by avoid eating these artificial sweeteners, processed meats, fast foods, by drinking beverages containing high fructose corn syrup, and that's sometimes abbreviated HFCS, corn syrup, and added sugar, because a lot of the added sugar that the manufacturers will use will be that high fructose corn syrup, or they will use artificial sweeteners. Now, they don't have to list it, but they will say added sugar. So you want to stay away from beverages with added sugar. And of course, you want to avoid drinking beverages with high alcohol content and smoking. All of these are free radicals.
Free radicals. Okay, that's a pretty good list.
Yes.
Free radicals.
And the list goes on, because now we have preservatives, and of course you know that the food industries, they want to prolong the shelf life of the food. So we have preservatives. These are the main preservatives that you will find in processed meats. Sodium nitrate, you'll find that a lot in your hot dogs, your bacon, because what the food manufacturer is trying to do is prolong the shelf life. So you want to stay away from sodium nitrate. How do you know there's sodium nitrate? You read the nutrition labels and you read the ingredient labels on your food. And you want to stay away from sodium nitrite. So it's nitrate and nitrite.
Right. Okay.
And then food enhancer like monosodium glutamate. That's a free radical. And you want to stay away from MSG. It's usually abbreviated MSG. You will find those. You will find MSG, monosodium glutamate, the flavor enhancer, in like your chips, snack foods. And you'll see that your kids will buy these snack foods and they'll just eat a sack and they'll eat another one. And that's because these free radicals are actually causing the child to is depleting the dopamine, and so they're trying to eat this, and it can also cause multiple sclerosis and autism. So make sure you are reading your nutrition labels and your ingredient lists. And then we have these big scientific terms, so they won't write them out. But if you see BHA or BHT, and the BHA is butylated hydroxyanisole. The BHT is butylated hydroxytoluene. These are preservatives, and they're placing these in the cereal boxes, in kids' cereal, the packages of the cereal boxes to preserve the cereals. But it's also caused hormone disruption. So it's causing the males to be feminized. So whenever you see BHA and BHT in your cereal box, stay away from it. These are free radicals that you can avoid by reading the nutrition label. Now, the new kid on the block, and this kid is bad. This is a bad player, is titanium dioxide.
Okay.
It's a food colorant, but it's also a genotoxic agent. In other words, when I say genotoxin, it actually does destruction to your gene, and it damages your gene. We talked about the hydrogen bond that holds the two strands together. The titanium dioxide will damage that. And once that's damaged, it can cause cancer. And then we have trans fats and hydrogenated fats. Now, a lot of times, because trans fats caused a high incident of of heart disease, usually when you see your nutrition labels, it will be 0 trans fats. But make sure you read the ingredient list, because if you see hydrogenated fats, it's the same thing as trans fats.
It's trans fats.
Right. So they will say hydrogenated coconut oil or hydrogenated sunflower oil. Stay away from that. This is a free radical. And of course, stay away from all anti-caking agents. And they place that like in your seasoning, especially salt. So if you buy sea salt, when you read through the ingredients list, make sure it just says sea salt and nothing after that, because usually that will be your anti-caking agent.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that there was even a thing like that, you know?
Anti-caking?
Yes.
Okay, silicone dioxide is an anti-caking.
Really?
And they will usually place that in salt. So, and then there's another one which is very toxic. But you just want to see under ingredient list, you just want to see sea salt or Himalayan salt and nothing else.
Okay.
So antioxidants, just to summarize, those are your good guys, and they carry those extra electrons and they share them with the free radicals to help prevent damage to your cell membrane. So if you can cut down on the free radicals by watching what you consume and reading your nutrition labels and your ingredient list, even though the body itself may produce free radicals, or you're getting some free radicals from other sources, external environment, you will, by eating your seeded vegetables and fruits, whole grains, you are providing your body with those nutrients that contain the antioxidants to help fight against the bad guys, the free radicals.
Gotcha. Okay. And so the second part of that question, Dr. Joyce, was what can you? We're still answering some questions around the antioxidants.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly mention some of the antioxidants that are found in the seeded fruits and vegetables and the whole grains and the seed grains would be your vitamins, like vitamin A, the beta carotene, vitamin C, and vitamin E. And then your minerals would be selenium. Now, this selenium, they found a lot of research has been done about minerals, and they're saying that we lack magnesium in our soil, and the selenium and the other minerals, zinc and copper. And they're saying that if you can take a supplement, and it has to be a non-toxic selenium, and I think we did a whole feature segment on that. But if you take at least 200 micrograms of selenium daily, that will help to prevent all cancers.
Really, 200 milligrams of
Micrograms.
Micrograms of the selenium.
Yeah, with minerals, you just need a very small amount. But they're saying that that will help to prevent all cancers. But it has to be a mineral that is chelated with an amino acid, not yeast. It definitely has to be yeast free. So you need non-toxic selenium, but that prevents all cancers. And then in zinc, for males, it helps to prevent prostate cancer. And then we have the amino acids, the tryptophan and phenylalanine, histidine, lysine, and the methionine. And usually if the methionine is chelated with the selenium, that's the one that you want to buy, because it is the healthy, non-toxic supplement.
Got it.
So you're getting these nutrients called antioxidants when you consume, like I said, fresh, organic, non-GMO seeded herbs, veggies, fruits, whole grains, and seed grains.
Good. Really good.
Okay.
And so what do the antioxidants do? How do the good guys help?
Okay, so it prevent damage to your cell membrane. And you remember once you get damage to your cell membrane, which is your barrier to these little factories that you have 37.2 trillion of in your bodies, it prevents damage to the cell membrane so that bad guy cannot also damage your DNA, which is in the center of your cell. And it provides your DNA protection to help prevent cancer, aging, and other diseases. Damaged DNA, all cancers result from damaged DNA. And so that's one thing that you have to remember. You must protect your seed, just like we want to protect the fruit and vegetable seed. We have to protect our seed, and our seed is the DNA. And these antioxidant good guys help to promote a healthy immune system so that we can fight off all diseases.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Okay, so here we are, the antioxidants, guys. We've got to promote and boost our antioxidants in our bodies, those good guys. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to keep going. We had a question that also came through from Barbara here in Wesley Chapel, Florida. And she said, I bought your book from Amazon and it has so much information. Can you talk a little bit about the foods and supplements that we need to be taking or not taking? And we did an episode here on this one as well. And so, Dr. Joyce, let's see if we can give them a recap.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have wisdom words, and this is coming from Genesis in the Bible, and it's scripture Genesis 1, the first chapter, the 29th verse, and it's in the New King James Version. God said, "See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be food." So in the very beginning, God, even before he made man, he made our food. So he's telling us. And, years ago, we were like, okay, when we read something that yields seed, you would think that would be like, wow, Lord, why are you saying that? But now, especially in the USA, most of the food has been genetically modified.
Mm-hmm.
And with them genetically modifying or genetically engineering our food, a lot of the fruits and vegetables contain no seed. So he's telling us, look for seed. And so we have to look for organic, non-GMO seeded herbs, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and seeded grains. And so here we can see that to make sure that we're not eating genetically modified or genetically engineered food, we want to look for this little butterfly, and we want to look for the USDA organic. So you're going to see non-GMO verified. If you see this, this is a good, reliable sign that the food has not been genetically modified, that the seed within that food has not been altered or genetically engineered.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And we're also going to be looking for, now with the vegetables, you will see a PLU, and that stands for price lookup number. And they will have a 4 or 5 digit number. Where you see a 4-digit number, PLU, hashtag 9 in front of that 4-digit number, that's an indication that you are eating a non-GMO food. Now, the USDA organic means that this non-genetically engineered food was grown on land. And so you want the food coming from the land and not from the laboratories, not from the ponds, but grown from the soil of the land. This is what you want to look for on all of your food. That way you know you're not getting free radicals, you're not getting genetically engineered food, and you're not getting food that has been sprayed with a toxic pesticide. And then we have these other PLUs. Now, the 8 in front of the 4-digit number, you're not going to see that very often because a lot of companies are not saying that they have genetically modified that food. So you're not going to see that. But what you will see is 4 and 3. 4 digits, 4 starting with the 4, PLU starting with the 4 or 3. What this means is that this food has been sprayed with a pesticide or an herbicide that could be toxic. So what I would recommend is if you know that the food has not been genetically modified, and I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you see 4, if you buy a bundle of, say, kale, and it has PLU, or a sticker of a tomato that has 4 or 3 on it, what I do is wash that fruit with vinegar. And if it's a vegetable, I use a little salt without an anti-caking agent and vinegar mixed to wash those fruits and vegetables before you eat them, because they're telling you it's been sprayed with herbicide or pesticide. And that hashtag PLU will start with a 4 or a 3. And if you ever see 8, stay away from it because the company is telling you this has been genetically modified.
8 is genetically modified.
And you're not going to see that. They won't admit that, this fruit has been genetically modified.
Yeah, no. That 3 I know we're in good shape, but we need to clean it.
Right. And the litmus test is that if you cut that fruit open and it has no seeds, even if it has 9 on it, if someone accidentally put the wrong sticker number on it, that food has been genetically modified.
All right, we better leave it alone then. Whew, okay.
So
that should not be consumed. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to watch for genetically modified foods, and these are foods that do not contain seeds. And we know that we're supposed to, from Genesis 1:29, We're supposed to be eating fruit containing or yielding seeds and vegetables yielding seeds. So most of these are popular fruits and vegetables, and so they have genetically modified oranges, watermelons, grapes, grapefruits, cucumbers, tomatoes, and other vegetables and fruits. So if the herbs, vegetables, fruits do not contain seeds, they are GMOs and will not provide you those antioxidants, those good guys that can share electrons with the free radicals, bad guys.
Oh, yeah. We watching it. We're paying attention to what these labels say.
Absolutely. So when you see PLU #9 in front of the 4-digit number, you know that you're getting a non-GMO fruit or vegetable. Okay. However, we want to watch for GMO avocados and mangoes. And these are the countries that have the U.S. actually started out selling these genetically modified seeds. And then they sold them Argentina, Brazil, and Canada. They are also purchasing the GMO seeds. But you will have a seed in the avocado. You will have seeds in mangoes because the seeds are needed to maintain the physical structure. But the seeds have been genetically modified so they cannot yield another avocado tree or another mango tree.
Yeah.
So according to scientific research, consuming GMO or bioengineered foods containing bioengineered ingredients. So when you're looking at the nutrition fact list, read your ingredient list under that. And if you see the abbreviation BEI, food contains BEI, then you know they're talking about bioengineered ingredients. Stay away from those foods because they have no health benefits. They are heavily processed and highly refined. And so you're not going to get your vitamins, your minerals, your amino acids that contain the antioxidants needed to protect your DNA, your gene, your seed, the human seed. GMO foods and foods containing bioengineered ingredients are high in calories, and they have a greater propensity to cause obesity, which can lead to diabetes and heart disease.
Yeah, we want to pay attention to this. I remember when we talked about this the first time when you brought it to my attention, I didn't even realize, I was used to hearing about GMO, and the genetically modified, but I didn't realize that there was a whole nother category of items that fall in this BEI, this bioengineered ingredient space. So this was very alarming and informing, like that they changed the name of the bad things to make it sound like it's something different, but it's really all the same and not good for you.
Exactly. Okay, so we want to watch for farm-raised, fed GMO feed. And that's your poultry, your beef, pork, dairy products, fish, and seafoods. Because the food that we're eating, the genetically modified foods, they're feeding into the farm-raised animals. So instead, purchase raised cage-free, free-range, pasture, no antibiotics, no hormones, no steroids, fed poultry and meats. And for your fish, your wild caught fish and seafood.
Yeah, you do have to be careful because sometimes you'll see meats, especially if you get food from like fast food or fast casual restaurants, and sometimes you're like, man, that's a big old piece of chicken. You know, it
Mhm.
probably might have some hormones or some steroids fed in it, you know, like, but you can tell sometimes
Yeah.
the things that we're not eating is not normal. And so we do have to pay attention to the things that we are purchasing and consuming and that we eating. Mm.
Okay, so always read your supplement facts. And so just like we have nutrition facts on packaged foods and
Mhm.
food containers, on your supplements, you will see supplement facts and also ingredients. So read those, even though you may see that little butterfly on the front and organic non-GMO,
Mhm.
still want to read the supplement facts and the ingredients. And the reason why is because now they're putting that food colorant, that titanium dioxide, into supplements.
Yeah.
And even though titanium dioxide has not been genetically modified, it's toxic to the gene because it's a nanoparticle. It's made through nanotechnology.
Mm.
And so when we're looking for dietary supplements or supplements, again, we want to look at the supplement facts and you want to watch and avoid these terms. So you want to look for made with non-GMO ingredients. You want to make sure under the ingredients it does not say magnesium stearate. Now, there are healthy magnesiums, like magnesium citrate, but not magnesium stearate, because that interferes with the immune system T cells, your Treg cells. Those are cells that regulate when you're having like an inflammatory reaction, it will regulate when to stop the inflammation from happening. So make sure you keep magnesium stearate. They're placing magnesium stearate into the capsules as a filler. So just to make the capsule full with the material. You want to
Mhm.
make sure it's gluten-free, vegan formula, yeast-free.
Mhm.
No sugar, salt, corn, soy, or dairy products. No titanium dioxide, which is an artificial colorant. No silicone dioxide. A lot of times they will use that for anti-caking. And then you want to make sure your supplements have no artificial flavors or preservatives.
Mhm. And for those of you watching, I would tell you to take a screenshot of this list on you so you have it on your phone so you can know what to look for, the things that you want to see when you're looking at your ingredients labels of your supplements and things that you're purchasing. So
That's
take your screenshot so you always have it on your phone. You can refer back the next time you go to the store picking something up.
Yeah, the dietary supplements, that's $1 billion industry now. So they're making it. Everyone, they're making dietary supplements.
Yeah. Uh, well, Dr. Joyce, this has been so insightful today. I mean, so insightful and very much everybody listening, don't forget, these episodes when Dr. Joyce was talking about free radicals, antioxidants, talking about the EMF, the electromagnetic frequency, and how that can impact the DNA, and also the supplements. We have episodes that we went through in depth on each one of these. Today, she just kind of gave a little bit of a recap on
Yeah.
some answer some questions. But if you want to explore and hear the full episode, go back to the podcast episode, and you can find the information there. And don't forget that there are resources in those Purple Mind books. So if you go to purplemindbook.com or even Amazon.com, you'll see the Purple Mind series with peace and rest, protection,
Mm-hmm.
and
Nutrition wellness.
nutrition and wellness. So
Yeah.
we got resources for you. And so, Dr. Joyce, this was a wonderful message that Ellie from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Ellie, I hope you listen today. Love your wisdom words, Dr. Joyce. My great grandfather was a farmer too, and I love and only eat fruits with seeds. Thank you so much for sharing. What a beautiful message.
Yes. Thank you, LA, for eating fruits and vegetables with seeds to protect your seed, which is your DNA. Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Well, friends, we are so glad that's I think that's all we got for today. I think Dr. Joyce, thank you so much for always coming on and sharing with our listening audience.
Welcome.
We are so grateful to have you and the wisdom that you bring. We do want to make healthy happen. So thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you on another episode. If you haven't already, please subscribe.
Yeah.
And if this episode and answer some of those questions, share it with somebody you know. This is good education and training and tools and resources for people, things people need to know so that they can live long and live strong.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we always invite you back. Leave us a message, leave a comment. We'd love to have those. And any questions that you have, bring them in and we will have Dr. Joyce to answer them for you. So
Yes.
thank you for tuning in today. Thank you, Dr. Joyce. And
Thank
we'll
you.
see you all next Friday. Bye, everybody.